Hi, everybody. Welcome to Winning Mantras, an endeavor to ignite the spirit of competitiveness. In this episode of Winning Mantras, we have Subhrajit Mukherjee, Shubhrajyoti Bhattacharya, and Srinath with us, the winners of HUL LIME Season 11. Let's get to know them better and learn more about their winning secret. Hi, guys. Thank you for joining us. How have you all been, and what are you all doing during this quarantine?
I guess during the quarantine, I'm just trying to stay home, stay here, safe with my family, and I'm reading up a lot on a lot of things that I planned to do earlier. So yeah, just reading a lot.
For me, it was initially a bit frustrating because all my travel plans got disrupted. I travel a lot actually, but yeah, it's okay. I mean, I got an opportunity to spend time with my family after a long time. So yeah, it's quite good. And I'm learning, I mean, how to cook and do some household work as well. Apart from that, I'm reading a lot on online articles and books, and also right now working on starting on my own venture.
Pretty much on the same lines, spending time with my family. I have a 2-year-old niece who's just learning to talk. So that pretty much takes away a good amount of time, and probably I'll never get this time again. So probably enjoying this.
I think this is going to be a really fruitful time for most of us. We are all learning new skills and spending a lot of time at home. So yeah, it's going to be a great time for us, despite whatever's going on in the outside world. Let's get to the basics of what HUL LIME was about. So, what was the competition and how was it structured?
Right. So HUL Lime, as we know, it's the biggest marketing competition in B schools that exists right now, and all the MBA students across the country, they try to give their best in this competition. So when Lime opens up this particular year in this season 11, there were 3 rounds. The first round, for which you had to qualify for the campus round, it was based on a precision marketing campaign. We basically had to create cohorts for 2 categories on the Dove brand, and then create a one slider out of it, and that was a campus round. We had to give in more details for the next round, which was semi-finals, in which 22 national teams participated. I mean, all the campus winners, they actually fought it out in the semi-final. And then out of that, 4 teams qualified for the grand finale, in which we received a different case altogether, which was on social marketing.
And how did you step into the competition? What was your initial strategy? And what was through the entire process?
So each case was different in its own way. Like the first one was mostly coming up with a strategy. But when you come to the second semifinals, we had to like do hands-on ad campaigns. So there is no single mantra, to be honest. Each one had their own sort of difficulties. So we started with understanding the current scenario, figuring out where the gaps were and where we could play to get the best outputs. So that was pretty much the thought process, like trying to understand what's happening right now and probably what's the ideal situation where we should be, and bridging that gap with whatever proposals we made.
Especially when it came to the grand finale, which was the social marketing case on reducing plastic pollution. So this has been there, like existing in the as a problem in the global scenario for over 30-40 years, right? So the idea of strategizing over here was to actually try to attack a small problem and try to solve it entirely, instead of attacking the whole problem, which was very difficult and not practically feasible.
When you guys make a presentation, what all points do you think are important, and what are the key aspects of presenting a case solution?
So when it comes to the presentation, the first and foremost thing that must come out in the presentation is the story that makes our team unique, right? Because we are competing against the best minds. Everybody has very great, bright ideas. But if our idea doesn't go across to the judges or to the jury panel who are observing the presentation, if it doesn't hit the mark, even if we have worked a lot, we just won't make it, right? So the message has to come out very clear and very crisp, very clear. And again, there is one more thing when it comes to the presentation, right? There were 3 rounds for line. The presentations were completely different. So a common mistake that most people do is they try to use the same presentation elements and use it for the further rounds. So that really doesn't help, because the way the competition is formed, the way the judgment is done, the presentation needs to be created to cater to that particular jury and that particular requirement.
Lots of dry runs, because timing is really important when it comes to these case studies, and sometimes you have to go in front of camera, and all this will be happening like for the first time. So the more you're prepared, the better you deliver.
And also talking about our campus round, so we got to know the shortlist for the campus round. That is some 5 or 6 hours before the campus round. So we had to prepare the entire presentation. We had to sequence and arrange everything within that short period, and that was really challenging. And that was one of the best part that I came across in this peaceful competition scenario.
And how many dry runs will it take for you to reach the finale?
So basically, the dry runs actually would never end, right? So we used to keep rehearsing what we would speak and not speak also as well. During our lunch or dinner, we just really like to talk about our presentation all the time. So before sleep, when we woke up, so Shubhrajyoti and I are roommates actually. So we used to just keep talking about it all the time. So I think, yeah, the dry runs never end. That's for sure.
So yeah, and sometimes there's always shortage of time. Like Subhrajit mentioned, we hardly had 5 hours. So honestly, we were like preparing till the last minute. So you usually don't get time, and it's just like try to squeeze in as much as possible.
And how did the team come about? Were you guys friends before the competition began, or did it happen during the competition? What was the secret?
So that's a quite really long journey. So basically, me and Shubhrajyoti, as he told, that we are roommates. So we started participating in competition right from the first year. So at that time, yes, we didn't know Srinath as very well. So after that, yeah, we are also experimenting with our teammates, particularly finding out who is complement to our capabilities. I mean, it's always important when you are forming a team, rather than going by friendship, but it's all of course like how are you complementing each other's capability. So then we met Srinath, and we somehow we concurred in one point that all of us have the same goals, same objectives, and our experience from the different industry and different background, all that really helped. So we started participating together, and we really got success. I mean, not only Lime, we somehow cracked some 12 to 15 cases, if I'm not wrong, together. So yeah, that was a quite brilliant team I got actually.
So the interesting part is we are all classmates, okay, but we didn't speak. Like I didn't speak to them in the first mode altogether. Yeah. But later on, as you know, like we became the best of friends on campus.
Okay, perfect. You guys
And
won.
in our team, we used to fight a lot. I mean, with our ideas, I mean, there is a clash of ideas. I mean, we are about to cut each other's logic and ideas so that we can refine better. So all these things comes together when you are, talking about success in a final or national final level.
I think playing the devil's advocate helps a lot when you're presenting,
Yeah.
especially working on a case study.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to another important question. Tell us something about the jury. What were they actually looking in the presentations, and what were their questions? Where were they focused?
So basically, the jury came from diverse backgrounds, like right from the leadership of HUL and CNBC to, if you look at the final rounds, we had some founders of NGOs and so on. So from young minds, they usually expect new ideas to be coming up. But at the same time, they have to be practical and implementable. So usually when we present, the immediate questions would be around, how will you implement this? Like, is this practical enough? So that was the line of defense we used to practice a lot. Like, will this work? This was a question we went on asking ourselves a lot. But even then, we had like bouncers in the end moment. Like, there was one question on, if we give you 1 crore budget, how will you implement the marketing campaign? So we never anticipated such questions. It was more to like put us in a spot and see how we think on the spot and so on. So pretty much that was how the jury used to like align to see if the solution was implementable.
Yeah, especially when it comes to Lime, right? The jury, I mean, so I have been amazed by the questions that we have been asked. Like we have done other competitions as well, but the particular the questions that were asked to us for our Lime, the 3 rounds. I mean, I was like blown away by the jury actually, because the questions were bang on point. I mean, if there is one particular point that you haven't researched, you haven't rehearsed well, I mean, you're gonna catch it. They're gonna definitely be on your, I mean, at that particular question. And so yeah, so the questions were bang on point, and as we already discussed, like playing the devil's advocate, we used to do that a lot. So kind of we had this zone where we were able to anticipate a lot of questions, but then a lot of questions again put us on the spot, right? Yeah, so we just had to think, strategize at that moment, and come up with a good answer.
Again, talking about Lime, it is one of the best corporate competitions that is organized in these schools every year. What makes Lime a special competition, and what makes it stand out from all the other corporate competitions?
Actually, there are multiple factors that make L.I.M.E so special. So, firstly, association with a brand, HUL, which is one of the most sought after in B-School campus. So, whenever a new candidate enters into a B-School campus, it becomes the competition of his or her choice, such as the reach and branding of L.I.M.E. So, if you look at the number of registration, it's highest by far. Level of competition is also very high. I mean, as almost everyone from every campus participates and ensures high quality submission. Also, the learning opportunity throughout the multiple rounds over 6 to 7 months, and opportunity to interact with HUL leadership, the top leadership team, featuring on television as a part of the grand event, chance to go abroad and represent your country in Future Leaders League. So all these factors that make L.I.M.E stand out from all other competitions.
Okay.
Also, to put in really simple terms, if other case studies are like a 100-meter sprint, this is like a marathon. You really need to put in your efforts to win this.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll just add one small point over here that L.I.M.E has been like the defining, the final year of our MBA lives have been all about L.I.M E from first round till the end. And now even after MBA is over, we are going to represent India in FLL. So it's larger than life, really.
Yes, again, so this competition lasts for a very long duration, unlike other case study competitions that get over in a period of 2 or 3 months. So, do you think this gets on your nerves at times, or maybe you take a lot? It takes a lot of time for you to spend on your case study, maybe, and for thorough research. That basically you need a lot of time to work on your case study. So, how do you devote this time apart from your academics?
So yeah, the question is absolutely on point. L.I.M E definitely lasts for a long period of time, and so it's all about making the right choice, right? Because we chose to do L.I.M E, we let go of a lot of competitions, and that's a fact. We did a lot of competitions, but because of this, we had to let go of many others. Because it's not just about creating a solution, right? We have to see it through to the end, and it takes a lot of time and effort to make that happen. So it was about making a choice over other competitions, definitely yes. And when it comes to academics, I guess all MBA students I think can relate to this, that we really don't sleep at night much. So we just take out the 24 hours that we have in a day. We used to sleep. Shubhrajyoti and we are roommates, right? So we used to sleep in batches. So when he used to work, I used to sleep, and accordingly we used to like coordinate stuff. So yeah, I guess some sacrifices have to be made, but I guess it's just part of the choice you make, right?
And adding to that point, you have to prioritize as well. In this school, you will get to know, lot of other activities, other extracurricular activities, clubs, committees, management fest, cultural fest, all those things. So you have to prioritize what is more important and what you love actually. So in our case, we particularly find out case studies is one of the things that we love to solve, and that is also very beneficial for our personal development as well. So for that, we always managed some time for it. So that was not a hardship for us.
Okay, perfect, perfect. And I think this is why you all are here. Your dedication and hard work brought you here as the winners of HUL LIME. Once you bagged the coveted trophy, how did it feel? Because this is one of again, the best competitions of these schools, best corporate competitions out there. How did it feel to be the winners of HUL LIME?
It took time for me to like believe that we won it. Like just after we won, everyone was congratulating us, and we were actually supposed to be interacting with the leadership and all. But I actually went to one corner, like sat there for some time, let it sink it. Like I never thought we'll win it, but we actually made it. So it was actually a big surprise, to be honest.
Yeah. So actually the journey that we had for L.I.M E, since it lasts for a long time, right? We had lots of ups and downs. We fought amidst ourselves. A lot of stuff happened. And so in spite of that all, when we actually won the competition in the end, it just all came rushing in, and it was just surreal. Can't put into words. So that's why I think Srinath sat down and took a while to just gather himself. And yeah, I was overjoyed. I was over the moon. Like it was an amazing feeling. Months of hard work and lots of sacrifices finally adding up to that one moment where you get up on stage with the CEO, the MD and CEO of HUL, and you receive that prize. That's mind blowing.
Guys, you're the national winners of HUL LIME. Again, one of the best corporate competitions out there. Why do you think these school students must participate in corporate competitions, and how do these corporate competitions shape an MBA student's life?
Yeah, okay. So as I told earlier, that in this school, it's not all about only academics or projects or examinations. People do get involved in multiple extracurricular activities. And we thought that competition is the best from the perspective of personal development. So talking about the competitions, there are multiple tangible and intangible benefits. So if I'm not wrong, there are almost 70 to 80, if not more, 70 to 80 companies, those give PPI, the pre-placement interview, to the winners of at various level. So irrespective of your profile, that yeah, I mean the accords, if the candidate has poor accords or not so relevant work ex, so irrespective of that profile and chance of getting shortlisted in a normal placement process, you can always get a chance. You can always get a chance to shortlist yourself in your dream company to this competition. So one of the best benefits that I can say. Apart from that, there is a lucrative sum of cash prizes to win and of these expensive goodies. So you might get a chance to travel abroad as well to participate in the global rounds and represent your country as we are going to Future Leaders League. So along with those, there is a steep learning curve and a huge learning opportunity throughout the 7 and 8 months, and the chance to interact with the top leadership teams of various companies. The thrill, as you mentioned, the thrill of winning and taking the award on that stage in a glamorous event, and yeah, making the lifelong friendship with some of the brightest mind of the country. So all those experience and exposure is very fulfilling, and that one can get from this participating in this case competition. That's simply unmatched and unparalleled.
I'll just add, like, he has covered a lot of the stuff that I would have to say, but just one more point, especially this year, given the current situation and crisis that our country is in because of COVID, and this particular, the point of PPI, I think makes most sense for doing the competitions, because job security is not really, it's a problem, as we all know right now, and the competitions where you can actually by your own merit get a job opportunity from your dream company. I think that's the best thing that can happen. And definitely all the incoming students and the current batch, they should definitely go for all the competitions.
For the coming batches, it's going to be far more relevant given the intense competition they'll be put through in this batch, and also to set yourself apart from your peers. Definitely winning a case study competition will be like that brownie point on your CV, which can actually make a difference.
What advice would you like to give to the incoming batch who is going to join these schools this year for corporate competitions, and for LIME in particular? How should they see things through, and what strategy should they opt to win such competitions?
So our advice will be that get your marketing basics very clear. I mean, that's for LIME, but for any other competition, be it from HR or supply chain or finance, get your basics very clear. Then carry out your research in detail, and your solution must be very precise with a strong foundation. You know, in LIME, they do emphasis on the very precise solution, not beating around the bush. Also, one more advice that I will give, that try to participate in few other competitions before LIME, so that you will get in zone when it begins, and also learn from your mistakes from those previous competitions. In addition to that, one more thing that I would like to mention, that what I feel from my batchmates and juniors, that you shouldn't blindly follow what your seniors did, because as we mentioned earlier, that every case is unique and deserves unbiased thinking and a holistic approach right from the beginning. So yeah, work hard, do it yourself, get advice and guidance from the right people only, and work hard in the right direction. All the best.
So just one last point to add to that. I think like the next upcoming batch is really in for a big battle. It's going to be a war zone, I guess. But don't fret. I mean, it's I think it's part of life, right? So it's the world we live in, and life's not always fair. When it comes to these competitions, as already said, get your basics right. No matter what is the domain of the competition, the basics must be clear. And sometimes it's okay to not consider everything, right? The junior understand. So own up to your mistakes, if any, and that's perfectly fine. And that's something we did for our campus round, right? There was a particular question in line that we had not really prepared for, and we were okay to say that, okay, this is something we didn't think about. So, and the judges like that. So please ensure that if such a thing happens, just say, yes, we did not consider that. We'll keep it in mind next time. That's perfectly fine.
I think it's pretty much summarized. So the situation our junior batch will be going through will be quite unique. As seniors, from an industry perspective and everyone outside, we are here to help. Definitely ready to mentor you, but it's always again up to them that they have to stay strong and really focus on what's right. Probably these situations definitely not something that many of us can say what's right and what's wrong, but definitely we are here to help. That's all I can say, and I wish them all the best for their careers.
So yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining us, and it was great interacting with you. I hope you all achieve greater heights in life, and all the best for all your future endeavors. Thank you for sharing your views with us, and all the best. Thank you. Stay home and stay safe.